sometimes we had a lot of expectation during the constitutional making. And that's why we created this institution. And like I reminded you, it was because we are recalling our history. But today, this era, I don't know that I pronounce it in Lesotho. Era, or I pronounce it in Chigisu. You can have on camera journalists being tortured publicly. Is this a situation which shows that we have moved on, or we are still sucked in the past, that this was an attempt in vain to create an institution to help us improve our human rights observance? Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I don't want to degenerate into patronizing or lecturing, but I think we need to do better as a commission. We certainly need to do better. And lastly, human rights funding should be for us as a country. Why do we go on begging for money from these people to fund our human rights institutions? Do you think it's the correct thing to do? That a country with its sovereignty must go begging money from donors to say, give us some money to see whether we are performing well in human rights? Does that make common sense, really? I refuse, I reject an idea of begging for money for purposes of human rights observance. Who commits these human rights violations? It is us. Against who? Ourselves. Whom do you want to fund that one? Foreigners. It doesn't make common sense to me. We need now to move away from begging for this sort of funds to do this sort of thing. That's why I'm a little bit excited by Trump. President Trump, I think, he wakes us up. You must wake up and look for own money to sort out our own mess. Because some of this is man-made. I must say, Mr. Chairman, some of this human rights violation is man-made. It's not a disaster. It's just human-made by us, which we can stop. Who tells you to beat up journalists? And then you go and say, please, Americans, give us money to investigate how we've beaten up journalists. Ah, you guys, wake up, please. Give us money to go and investigate how we've locked up people without trial. Please help us with some money why we've remanded too many people in Rwanda, those who are not even on trial. By the way, Madam Chairperson, we have another problem. People who are on remand. We got a case the other day, I don't know whether you picked it up, which came on the floor. Somebody had been on remand for 20 years. 20 years on remand. And you just imagine that's the family of that person, or even us, how we are looking at the Human Rights Commission, seated comfortable asking for these billions, when somebody is just in Rwanda on remand for 20 years. No trial, on remand. On remand, 20 years. A kid who was born when he was first remanded is now 20 years. One was a 20-something. And I thought you people, you have picked up that, and these are the sort of cases we would expect you to be handling. They may not even need bigger resources. But if you sit in your office that you don't have money to do your core mandate. Yes, sir, please.
We know, because there was a policy shift 3 or 4 years ago, that once a violation is established, the compensation should come from the budget of the entity from where the violator comes from. May we know from the Commission whether that is being followed up, and probably know whether you're following up even their budgets, that once their money is deducted, they don't ask for a supplementary to replace the same money that has been deducted from them.
And that policy shift came from us here.
Sorry for the interjection. Actually, one of the things reported is that one of the challenges they are facing is that the MDAs which are violating the rights are not paying the victims. So the policy shift should also be addressed along the same.
Yeah, you see what used to happen? All this would go now to the Attorney General's chambers, Minister of Justice. And it would be a budget to the Minister of Justice. And we thought we need to know that, especially accounting officers, if you are the ones committing these torts, or your department, your ministry, what we call MDG, should be able to pick the bills. If it's about Minister of Defense, let Minister of Defense pick the bill. If it's Internal Affairs, let Minister of Internal Affairs. Then it is possible to know which, I don't know whether when you're making your orders, you're aware about that, and these MDGs are the ones who should be paying. And then you give us the statistics, those MDGs that have paid and those who have not paid, their victims. Then we can follow it up with those particular institutions.
Reports like we have had 260 cases. You know, violation of human rights is personal. It's in personam. We need these persons who have been victims and awarded and how much. We also need the perpetrators of these actions so that we have a list. Others may appear perennially. You see the first perpetrator here coming again and again and again. And then we need to question why is this particular person appearing several times on the same cause. So we need details. We need the figures. You mentioned that you found 35 prisons. You visited prisons and found so many people who are being detained, who have been on remand for a very long period of time. We need to know these names so that we follow up and know who has been detained for how long and why. Because when you talk about human rights, we are talking about human beings. We are talking about individuals. We need to know these individuals and find a solution, because it's now a problem. So if 100 people are being detained in Arua, who are these 100? What are their details? What did they commit? And why have they been on remand for this very long period of time? That will help us to avoid the 20 years he's talking about, because we know the individuals we are addressing. Now, to that, Madam Chair, my colleagues have spoken about the incidents of Kawempe, and specifically the journalists who were brutalized. Do you think, in the eyes of an ordinary journalist or an ordinary Ugandan, you are the first go-to place in case of human rights violation now? Do they have that confidence in you that if an incident has happened, you are the people they are going to first for redress? And that... Yes, because we need the whole intention, like it has been enunciated from the beginning, that you should be the first people to go to in cases of human rights violations. So we need that. You need you to build that confidence. Let me invite Honorable Zijan to make to make the submissions. Then
Can I, Chair, with your permission and with the sympathy of Honorable Zijan, make just one statement? Madam Chairperson, we look at the Commission as our first line of defense.
Oh, you ought to.
Yes, you ought to. Once it is broken, we are in trouble. That's why we are trying to be hard on you. You are supposed to be our critical line of defense. And once you are weak, like it seems, then we are in trouble. So please, the Constitution has placed faith in the Commission. And don't fail us. Thank you.